what you thought you knew from the shed of dreams, the Leak and Review.
Welcome back to the show. It is the Leak and Review. I would be playing the part of Leak. Adam Baldwin is back on the program after a number of dates throughout the East Coast. Prince Edward Island, Fredericton, more shows still to come over the next few days. How was the first run?
Wonderful. Just some solo shows by myself. The Fredericton show is in this beautiful old church, and PEI is a hall called the Trailside that I've played at many times. It's always great, but it was freezing cold. It's happening. It is winter.
Winter
now.
has arrived, and but being out on the East Coast, you can get winter pretty much 11 months of the year. Like a quick snap comes in and it hits you. But I have been to Prince Edward Island just after recent snowfalls. Like I showed up in February, and I couldn't believe how much snow was on the island. Pretty impressive
hammered
stuff
out there, man. But there are, all of us out here. We're a wind-battered people. It's nothing we're not used to, and if we didn't have the climate to talk about out here, I'm not sure what we'd ever converse about at all.
It seems like only a week ago where I said maybe he's not maniacal.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It turns out he is.
Something that's interesting, though, when you look at, we're going to stop U.S. liquor sales. Apparently, there's about $1 billion in liquor sales. Canada buying $1 billion in American liquor every year.
Yeah.
And we're looking at doing, last number I saw was like $160 billion in tariffs towards the U.S. Like, throughout all the different products. I'm like, wow, liquor is representing $1 billion. What the hell is like wood around $90 billion? There's probably like 8 things on our list.
All right. Yeah, there can't be that much, or it's just a lot of Pabst Blue Ribbon that we're buying up here, which is essentially just water anyway. They can keep it, for God's sakes.
Not recommended. There's a bar, you've probably been there, in Nashville, Tennessee, called Santa's.
Yeah, oh yeah, I love that place.
Santa's is two trailers that are welded together. It's a karaoke bar. I don't know where it is. I just get in the cab and the cab.
I know. I haven't got any idea where it is.
And I've been there a dozen times.
Yeah, it's the greatest.
First of all, you can smoke in the trailer, which seems the opposite side of safety. Like, aren't the trailers the first thing that go up to cigarette smoke? Second, there's zero ventilation. You're in these two welded together trailers. It's a giant karaoke bar. Half the people shouldn't be singing, and then the other half are actual real artists who know what they're doing. So it's an interesting mix. Last time I was there, Pabst Blue Ribbon was $2. If you were rich, which I at the time was, you throw down a $3 bill and you can walk away with a Budweiser. I was like, I'm gonna show people who's who. It's like elevating to bottle service at the bar. It's really incredible.
Well, Warren Buffett over here getting himself a Budweiser at Santa's. Look at you go.
And then your clothing, because there's so much smoke in that place. Even if you're a cigarette smoker, you will likely throw out the clothes because you're never getting that smell out. It's pretty impressive.
It's my kind of place, man. I go every single time I'm there. I'm going in March, and I suspect that I'll be moving into the double wide.
Are you? What's your go-to at a karaoke bar? Because it's a little bit different because you're not playing. Like,
that's right.
I know you can play 100 different cover songs, but it's different when you don't have to play the instrument.
That's right. I usually do Against the Wind, Bob Seger. Or Unchained Melody. And you have to be careful sometimes because I am a singer. Sometimes people get angry with you when you do well, they're like, oh, right on, that guy. Yeah.
Someone who's it's their career, as a singer, as a songwriter, you got to at least make sure that you've got about 90 units of liquor in you. So at least it kind of balances things off with all the locals.
And believe me, I do that.
I have a friend who she's so excited to go to Santa's this one time, and I'm like, yeah, sure. I'm going to go up and sing. I'm like, all right. She goes up and sings Piano Man by Billy Joel. Yeah. It's like 7.5 minutes long.
Yeah.
Most karaoke songs, don't try to go much further past 2 minutes if you're going to go up on stage, even if you are the best. But 7.5 minutes of piano night, I was like, oh God.
I like when somebody does Freebird, which is basically, it's like 2 minutes of singing and then 7 minutes of guitar solo. And that's what I loved. It's just like some guy standing there awkwardly while the guitar solo plays for the outro of the song.
I advise people, too, that when you are doing karaoke, wherever it is, whether it's a semi-pro smoking trailer called Santa's in Nashville or anywhere in Canada, pick a song that everybody knows. Don't pick a song that you think is cool. Like you're going to bring out the new song from the Hives.
Yeah, here's a deep cut from Graham Nash. What are you doing, man?
Hey, did you see the Grammys yesterday? Do you care about watching awards?
No, I don't. I didn't know they were yesterday, to be honest with you.
Isn't that funny? Because you have performed on awards programs for decades now. Remember the first time you went on and played the Junos stage?
I do, yeah, in Winnipeg with Maze. We were told to do one thing, and we did precisely the other. We did exactly what we wanted to do, played way over on a national broadcast, and it was tremendous.
So people know when you're playing on these programs, they want you in what you're going to wear on the show that night.
Yeah.
So the exact same. So you could be rehearsing 2 days in advance, but you're supposed to be wearing the exact shirt, the exact pants, the dress, whatever it is. Yeah. And then they want you to be replicating the exact same moves.
Exactly.
That you would do in a rehearsal. And yeah, it's all for the camera. So what did you do that was the opposite?
Well, the most infuriating thing about it is they choose the song that they'd like you to perform. You know, everybody knows, you can find out very easily how long that song is. They ask you to perform that song, and then they try to chop the whole thing all to bits to make it fit into their television broadcast. And that's just, that is so counterintuitive to what we do in a rock and roll band with no backing tracks and none of that foolishness. We just we just play rock and roll, and the song goes as long as it goes. And so we were told to like chop half of a bridge and cut parts of the song out. And we did it for the rehearsal and decided that once we were on television that we were going to just play the song as written, and we did. And I'm sure somebody got an earful for it, but it's rock. I mean, come on, man, it's rock and roll music.
Nickelback got into the Hall of Fame 2 years ago, and they did a medley of a bunch of their hits, chopped down into an 8-minute segment.
Yeah.
And I was talking to the guys saying, like, I don't know, as much as you guys are pro musicians, I don't know how you were able to do that, considering you've played each one of these songs 1,000 times.
Oh my God, yeah.
And you've played them arguably the exact same way 1,000 times. You know, a little bit of variation, a little bit of differential. But never have you played them to transition into another song after only a couple beats, and then you're into another song. And the guys were like, oh yeah, we were shitting our pants. We had, it's a lot easier, they said, when you're jamming it out, and they spent hours and hours jamming it out, trying to figure it out. And then when it came to the actual showtime, they're like, we'll see what happens.
Sure. Yeah. That's not the way it's supposed to be presented. It's counterintuitive to every emotional sort of synapse in your brain that's firing it. That's not what somebody wants to do. If you can do it well, there's an art to that, I'm sure. But I'm not in a position where I'll ever have to do that, I don't think. So I'll let the boys in Nickelback figure it out.
It's probably just a matter of time before everyone has to play the track. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Doesn't matter what show you're playing on. It could be the smallest awards to the biggest awards, but the idea of it being live for TV anymore is, I think those days are numbered.
I remember hearing a story about J.J. Cale, the sort of famed blues artist of the 60s and 70s. He wrote Cocaine for Eric Clapton, If You Want, and Call Me the Breeze and stuff. He was offered a spot on American Bandstand with Dick Clark at a time where if you were on that program, your troubles were over forever.
Right,
And he
because there's
showed
like
them.
100 million people who are watching that one show at that time.
Exactly. And he showed up with his band and his equipment and set up, and then they told him that he had to lip sync the song and that the band wouldn't be playing. He's playing to the record track, and he picked his shit up and he walked out. He left. He's, well, I'm not doing that. And
I think there was another story from American Bandstand that the drummer went out and didn't even bring sticks.
oh, you know what? That might be. It was a Grammy thing. Alan Jackson did something really funny. It was the same idea. They told him they had to play to a track, and the drummer went out with no sticks, but pretended it and like really went for it. You can find that on YouTube, and it is amazing. Those little FUs to the TV people that are.
That said,
anyway.
look, when you're transitioning from one artist to another and you're moving all these stages, it's not easy bringing in all this gear. I saw an artist, Luke Combs, play a few years ago. On the bill that night was Chase Beckham and I can't remember the third. Anyways, three dudes playing the arena. Chase Beckham is opening. He wraps up. And you get up thinking you're going to go grab a couple beers, go to the bathroom. Right. You don't even make it to the concourse. The next band is on because they use basically the same backline for all three. And I'm like, I've never seen all three bands use essentially the same setup.
Yeah.
And it was honestly a 10-minute changeover.
Wow.
The whole night was done and packaged up by 10 p.m. I was like, I've got hours now to kill. I can't go home this early. People are going to get suspect.
Yeah, yeah, right. Exactly.
I got to come home at the regular hour. Otherwise, people are going to start to look into my doings.
You can't have that.
You get to see people out on the road that you wouldn't otherwise see in your hometown. I'm talking celebrity. A lot of this, too, has to do with the fact that you're out.
Yeah.
You're out when you're out on tour, whether you're playing or not, you're going out every night. You don't sit in the hotel room and
Not
just
me.
wait the day
yeah.
out. Who's someone that you've run into or maybe who's been at one of your shows and you thought about it later and you went, God damn it, I was talking to that person. How did that happen?
One time in Edmonton, I came home from the bar and I got in an elevator and Engelbert Humperdinck and Chris Bosch were on the elevator.
Just two dudes hanging out?
Yeah, it was so bizarre. And I can remember thinking, how did I get here? Why are these two people? How am I in this elevator with these two?
They weren't together though. They just happened to be in the elevator.
They couldn't. No, they were all. Everybody was in the same hotel, and Jay Smith had seen Engelbert earlier in the day, and I had seen some of the Raptors. They were up there for a preseason game, so it was funny to think that those two entities were even in the same hotel as us. And then I stumble into that elevator, and those two guys were standing next to each other, and it was what an alignment of the stars that would have brought those two guys into that elevator at the same time. I was
listening to Chris Bosch's podcast, and he had Engelbert Humperdinck on, and he brought up Adam Baldwin walking into.
That's right. I made quite an impression.
Like, what is going on here?
Similarly, I also walked Snoop Dogg to the casino in Halifax one time. It was the same thing. I got onto an elevator, and him and his gang were in there, and he looked at me, and I was wearing like a flannel shirt. It was the middle of winter, and he just looked at me, down at me, and he goes, "Look at this lumberjack motherfucker." Everybody started laughing at me. And then they asked where the casino was. I walked them through a pedway all the way to the casino, and they did not stop smoking weed the entire time. It was exactly what I expected out of.
They lived up to all your Snoop Dogg expectations.
Every one of them.
For myself, one night in Toronto, I'm at this release event, and it's a new label that Gene Simmons has started, and he's got this band Prodigy that he thinks is going to be the next big thing, and so on. Good, as if there's a hype man you want, maybe Gene could be okay. Right? Yeah. He could be arguably the Don King of music. 100%. Don King of the boxing world, here's Gene Simmons of the music world. So there's this showcase evening or whatever, and then they're having an after party. And it's a small club, so it's kind of like just a party.
Yeah.
You don't need to have an after party. Just say, feel free to hang out.
Keep doing what you're doing.
I'm just being me, talking away and all that stuff with this woman, and she is cackling. She is laughing. Beautiful blonde woman, tall woman. She's taller than me, and we are in this spot that is not a big high ceiling, and her laugh is echoing through this spot, this chamber, and eventually Gene catches this sound. Who's making this woman laugh? And he comes over to me and he goes, "What is your name? What do you do?" And Gene Simmons is a big, tall dude.
Yeah.
Without the boots on, he's a gigantic man. And his wife, Shannon, is a beautiful, tall woman. But just right away, "What is your name? What do you do?" And I said, "I'm Leake. I'm a broadcaster. What do you do?"
Amazing.
And she just exploded, and he just went, "Woof," and he turned around and walked away. I'm like, I have done all I can.
That's tremendous. Yeah,
I get to go home.
Yep.
Walking away with the
great
W.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Set up the shows this weekend. Where are you at?
I go to Glace Bay on beautiful Cape Breton Island. It's an old theater called the Savoy Theater. I kind of consider that place a bit of a rite of passage out here. It's a storied old hall, and I'm really excited to play there. And then on to Pictou County, the DeCoste Center in Pictou, home of the tall ship Hector, and then Truro.
AdamBaldwin.ca for all the info. Get the songs. Go support, and I hope we can check in with one another real soon.
Talk to you soon. See you, buddy.
Now forget everything that you thought you knew from the shadow